Hawkins with an 0-2. Drive to right. Way back. Cubs lead. Dexter Fowler with a 2-run homer. Oh, baby. Cubs win. Gorgeous night here at Wrigley Field. The Cubs have returned home after a successful weekend in Colorado and back inside the NL Central as the Cubs welcome in the Cincinnati Reds, first of a 3-game series here on Comcast Sportsnet. Great to have you with us. Jim DeShays, Len Casper with you. The Cubs did not win a game all of last year in which they entered the ninth trailing. Dexter Fowler got the job done yesterday.
His weekend just got better and better, didn't it? In his return to Colorado, he took an 0 for 5 on Friday night, then really turned things around, had a big day Saturday, and obviously a real big swing of the bat in the ball game yesterday, providing the difference with that 2-run home run in the top half of the ninth.
Boy, a big mistake by Hawkins on an 0-2 pitch, but good hitters take advantage of that, and Dexter called it a surreal moment.
Yeah, indeed, and 2 triples, 2 walks on Saturday, the big home run Sunday. Not coincidentally, the Cubs won those final 2 games.
Well, the Reds welcome back Joey Votto. He missed 100 games last year with a quad injury, and their offense struggled mightily, but he's off to a very good start, and the Reds are 4-2.
Yeah, 3 home runs already this year for Joey Votto. That's kind of been the story for the Reds. A lot of power so far this year. Frazier's also gone deep 3 times. Joey Votto looking a lot like Joey Votto's legs just weren't under him even when he was in the lineup last year.
Billy Hamilton not in the lineup. He has a finger injury for the Reds, so that running game won't be quite as strong for Cincinnati. John Lester will make the start for the Cubs. JD, it's been a while, 8 days since opening night.
Yeah, looking for a mulligan because he struggled in that opener. He was working underneath the ball, left the ball up in the strike zone quite a bit, so the number's not pretty. His first ever start against the Cincinnati Reds will come here tonight.
Mike Leake has faced the Cubs a lot in his career. The right-hander will go for the visitors. The Cubs scored 15 times over the last 2 games in Colorado, both victories. They're back home to start a 6-game homestand next.
Northwest Indiana Lexus dealer, who invites you to test drive a Lexus today. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Illinois, through it all. AT&T Uverse. Find out what's possible with AT&T. Call 1-800-PIG-ATT, mobilizing your world. Ford. Check out America's freshest lineup at your local Ford store or at localfordstores.com. And by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com.
What a beautiful night here on the north side of Chicago. Wind not doing a whole lot, dry conditions, warm spring-like temperatures. We will get the Reds lineup here in a second, but first the umpires for tonight. Jerry Meals will work home plate. Paul Emmel at first, Andy Fletcher at second, and Jordan Baker is over at third. Chris Negron is in for Billy Hamilton, who has a finger injury, so he's out of the lineup tonight. So is Devin Mesoraco, who's dealing with hip discomfort. John Lester deals, and we're underway. 92 on the fastball for strike one.
Yeah, John Lester last time out, his first start with the Cubs last Sunday, a week ago Sunday, struggled with his command, was up in the strike zone quite a bit. Good start here. He busts that fastball at 92 over the outside corner.
Low and in. Negron getting his first start of the year for the Reds, who won their first 4, dropped their last 2 to the Cardinals. Ball fouled back. Manager really happy with how yesterday played out. So my team didn't quit.
Well, he was banged up. He was short on the bench. Come from behind on the road in dramatic fashion thanks to that guy and others. Alcantara drew a big walk in that deciding ninth. Wellington Castillo got a big pinch hit knock.
Two and two the count. Joey Votto's on deck. Lifted down the right field line, and that'll end up in the seats, out of play.
So Lester with that fastball, 92 miles an hour. He'll throw a 2-seamer, a 4-seamer. Likes to cut it in on the hands of right-handed hitters. He's got a good curveball and a straight change. And the arsenal really serves him well against right-handed batters. They only hit 230 against him last year.
31 years old, 6'4", 240, and another 2-2 line drive, snagged by Castro. Pulled that ball right out of left field. Nicely done by the Cubs shortstop.
It's a happy pitch right there. Negron can feel good about hitting the ball hard. Lester got an out. Castro made a heck of a play.
So here's Joey Votto, who has hit second in every game though thus far for the Reds, and he turns on one into the right field corner. Solair will chase it down. Votto on his way to second, and he's going to make the turn, and he's got a triple. Joey Votto with a 1-out triple. And let's get the rest of the Reds Southwest starting lineup. Coming up, Todd Frazier, an all-star last year. Brandon Phillips in the cleanup spot. Former Cub Marlon Byrd in left, batting 5th. Jay Bruce in right. Brian Pena, the switch-hitting catcher. Zach Cozart, and then Mike Leake, who can really handle the bat.
Cubs defensively, you saw Castro do his thing. He's got Herrera on one side of him, Alcantara and Rizzo on the right side of the infield. Outfield, Coughlin, Fowler, Solair. David Ross for the second consecutive start behind the plate for Alexis pursuing perfection starting pitcher John Lester.
Infield in against Todd Frazier, who takes a strike on the outside.
It's been a great career so far for John Lester. You see his numbers against National League clubs in his career, 15-8.
Foul past former Cub manager Jim Riggleman, the Reds' new third base coach. To see him back in uniform here at Wrigley Field. Billy Hatcher, former Cub player, over at first. Ryan Price in his second year as a Reds skipper. Lester would love a strikeout here. Not going to get it though, and the Reds grab the lead as Votto will trot home. Frazier on his way to second with a double, triple double, and it's 1-0.
Second baseman, number 4.
This Reds club has a completely different look with a healthy Joey Votto. Todd Frazier had a very nice year last year, as did Devin Mesoraco. They were both all-stars. Mesoraco, as Len mentioned, banged up right now, but Frazier's been swinging a hot bat here in the early going.
Lester allowed a first inning run a week ago yesterday on opening night against the Cardinals as well, as he faces Brandon Phillips. And a cut and a miss. So he's hitting in the cleanup spot for the second straight day after batting 7th in the Reds' first 5 contests. Cutter missed the outside corner. 1 ball, 1 strike. Talked to John yesterday. He said, I don't have any superstitions or, certain times when I'm at home on the day I pitch that I have to do stuff. He has certain routines at the ballpark. There's another base hit to right. And Frazier's going to be held at third. They're at the corners. Jorge Soler's had a busy first inning out in right field.
Yeah, John Lester getting ambushed here in the first. All the 4 hitters really having good swings at him. Remember, the game started with Negron hitting that line drive that was snared by Castro. Since then, it's been triple, double, single. Jim Riggleman decides not to send Frazier. Doesn't want to challenge Solair out there with 1 out in the inning. With 2, he probably takes a shot.
Slow start for Marlon Byrd, 2 out of 21. The last couple of years, a career renaissance. Made some mechanical changes. See the leg kick. He used to just have a toe tap when he was here working with Rudy Jaramillo. The Reds hoping he can nail down that left field spot. They've used a ton of them over the last 5 or 6 years. Not hit very hard. Herrera will have to throw to first, and he gets Byrd, but a run will score, and it's 2-0 on an RBI ground out by Byrd.
Cheap RBI, but Marlon Byrd will take it. He's a little late getting that front side down, rolls over a little bit on it, but it works out for him. Softly hit. Frazier's going on contact. Only one option for Herrera.
Now Jay Bruce, coming off the worst year of his career. And again, if the Reds, and we say that a lot early in the year about everybody we see, if the Reds are going to contend, they need Jay Bruce to get back to the guy he was a couple of years ago. He's already hit a couple of home runs in 6 games.
He dealt with some injury problems last year as well, but the numbers were very un-Bruce-like. Hit .217, 18 home runs.
And he just turned 28, so according to his age, he's right in the prime of his career. That's a strike. It's 0-2. Two is outside.
Should be advantage Lester as these Reds hitters get their first ever look at him. Marlon Byrd and Brian Pena, the only hitters in the lineup who have ever faced Lester. So far, the Reds hitters have put on a pretty good show here.
Yeah, catch the inside corner. He thought he did.
Yeah, I thought he did too. Gary Meals remains perfect. Still hasn't missed one.
Phillips, the runner at second. 2 runs in, and a 2-2 count on Jay Bruce. And a base hit. Not hit hard enough for Coghlan to have a shot at Phillips. 3-0. 4 hits for the Reds here in the opening frame.
That pitch is sliding off the outside corner, and Bruce, big strong guy, off the end of the bat, just muscles it into shallow left field.
Now Brian Pena, who actually had to leave the game yesterday, injured his left shoulder. There goes the runner, Bruce, throw to second. Safe. Like a good throw may have gotten him. And much was made last week about John Lester and the fact that he did not make a pickoff throw to first all of last year. In fact, it's been about 2 calendar years since he's done that. Yeah, low throw gets him.
Yeah, and Bruce really didn't have a good jump, and Lester very quick to home plate. So, you know, whether he has the yips or not, you know, he still is able to combat the running game just by being quick to home plate, changing his time, holding the ball from time to time.
Xfinity high-speed action yesterday. Brian Pena, do I slide? Do I dive? I think I'm just going to injure myself. Ooh, that is ugly. But back in the lineup here tonight as Castro will throw out Pena, but a big first for the visitors. It's a Reds 3 and the Cubs coming up. $100 to JDRF. Cubs Southwest starting lineup will be started by Dexter Fowler at the game-winning home run yesterday. Rizzo, Solair, Coughlin in the cleanup spot for the second straight day. Castro, the shortstop. Arizmendi Alcantara was going to hit ninth, but Mike Olt was scratched from the lineup, so he goes to 6. Ross Lester, and then Jonathan Herrera hitting ninth.
Reds defensively, no Billy Hamilton, so Negron gets a start in center field. His first ever major league start out there in center field. Bruce and Bird, right and left. Frazier, Cozart, Phillips, Votto, very solid defensive infield. Brian Pena behind the plate. And 27-year-old right-hander Mike Leake, the Lexus pursuing perfection starting pitcher for the Redlegs here tonight.
0-1 to Fowler. He's hit out of play. Mike Leake, a terrific athlete in some ways, JD. Not the repertoire per se, but he's the right-handed version of Travis Wood. Good athlete, he can hit.
Field of position. Whereas Travis is a fly ball guy with all those cutters. Leake more of a ground ball pitcher, throws a lot of sinkers. Travis not overpowering.
Eight and 2 lifetime in 15 career starts against the Cubs, and has won each of his last 4. Has not lost to the Cubs in 3 seasons. Off the plate inside, so Fowler from 0-2 to a full count. Rizzo on deck. A happy man getting on the Cubs charter last night. Dexter Fowler, after a successful homecoming of sorts to the Rockies. A game-winning home run. It looks like he's knocked LaTroy Hawkins out of the closer's role. As the Rockies beat the Giants today 2-0. Rafael Betancourt got the save. Swing and a miss, strike 3.
Couldn't get the hands pulled in quick enough to get the barrel to that inside fastball from Leake. 53-42 lifetime for Leake, who's now 27 years of age. First round pick out of Arizona State back in 2009.
Strike called on Rizzo. 2 out of 14, but you see that on base percentage with 2 walks and 4 hit by pitches. Ball bounded foul. 62 degrees as we got started. Northwest wind at 8.
That's beautiful.
Crosswind from left to right, maybe will help a power hitter like Rizzo on a fly ball to right. Forget April 13th. I'll take this on June 13th.
Beautiful night, isn't it?
I wouldn't ask for much more in that regard.
Good take. See if that convinces Leake to challenge him with a fastball here.
Solair next. Cubs went 1-1 against the Cardinals, then won 2 of 3 in Colorado. There's a ball squared up and lined on a hop to Jay Bruce for the Cubs' first hit.
Yep, just the way he dismissed that previous changeup convinced Leake that maybe Anthony was sitting on soft stuff, so he does challenge with a fastball, and Rizzo drops a head on it and rifles a single into right.
Solair still looking for his first home run. Looks at a strike. Reds made a bunch of roster moves before this game. Mentioned Hamilton and Mesoraco considered day to day. But they have a new catcher on their roster, Kyle Skipworth, selected from Double-A Pensacola. Josh Smith, the right-hander, will join their bullpen. Infielder Chris Dominguez sent to Louisville, as was right-hander Raisel Iglesias. He recently made his big league debut, and expecting Homer Bailey back possibly this coming weekend off the DL.
Cubs
a rough year with the bullpen, didn't they, last year?
Yeah, and some rough bullpen issues already this year. Cubs will miss Johnny Cueto in this series.
That ball hammered to deep left, and it's gonna go! A line drive home run for Jorge Soler. It's 3-2.
He found it.
We're just getting started.
He said he was looking for his first home run, and he just found it. That's the ball I thought he was going to hit in Colorado over the weekend. A little play. Here's your Ford home run replay, #1 on the year for Jorge Soler, as the Cubs starting to drive the ball here in recent days. Boy, what a great finish.
First career homer, remember, August 27th of last year in Cincinnati off Matt Latos. First at bat. Coors Field has come along with us. 3-2 in the first inning.
These construction workers are going to show up early for work tomorrow so they can get that home run ball.
Oakland chops it foul into the Reds dugout. To the opposite field, and Bird's not going to get this one either. One hops the door, and Cotlin's got a double. Single homer double as the Cubs respond against Mike Leake.
Chris Coghlan is now 6 out of 6 in his career off of Leake. And this is his third double. That one has good run, but not sink, and Coghlan able to hit it with authority to left field. Did a bunch of that in spring training, not just hitting the ball on the line to left, but driving the ball over the outfielders' heads to left field.
Castro hitting 5th tonight, snapped a 13-game hitting streak yesterday that dated back to last year. 47 career plate appearances for Castro against Mike Leake, the most he's had against anybody, and he's hit .302. Makes sense. They both debuted in 2010. Got part of the bat. Instead of 2-0, it's 1-1. Mentioned Mike Leake. Went to Arizona State. He was a quick study, pretty advanced, and that's why he went right from being drafted to making their club the following year. April 11th, 2010, he debuted against the Cubs. Even at the time, JD, nobody said this guy's going to be a perennial Cy Young Award winner, but they liked his aptitude. He's had a solid major league career.
Yeah, you know, usually when you see a guy pick that high in the draft, he was the 8th overall pick, you think, well, this is going to be a guy with a 96-mile-an-hour fastball with, you know, top of the rotation type stuff. With the Reds, what they saw in Mike Leake was a guy that would get to the big leagues quickly and could help them, whether it was out of the bullpen or as a starting pitcher. I don't think they ever envisioned his ceiling being as an ace, but a guy that could fit into the middle of a rotation for a long time.
That ball feathered in the left, a base hit. Gary Jones going to send Chris Coghlan. Bird's throw cut off by Todd Frazier, and we're tied. How about that? John Lester gives up 3 in the top of the first, and the Cubs respond with 3.
Typically, April here at Wrigley Field, it's cold, the wind's blowing in, and it's a pitcher's night. That is not the case here this evening, and the hitters are having a fine time of it. A little bit of a hanging slider there. Watch Castro. He's kind of out in front of it. He keeps the hands in the strike zone, gets the barrel to the ball.
JD, we're on a 27-27 pace.
Yes, we are.
Contra looking for his first hit. He has walked 5 times, but 0 for 12.
Yeah, I was listening to the Brewer game today a little bit. Listening to Uke.
Yeah, they won in St. Louis.
And they have a promotion there. I think it's the Potawatomi Casino. that they draw a lucky fan's name, and if there's 21 runs scored in the game, they win $5,000. So it could be.
Is it exactly 21?
Yeah, it's like,
they bust at 22?
I think so.
On the ground, Phillips will spin and throw to Votto in time. To get Alcantara. Castro is at second with 2 outs as he chats with his colleague Zach Cozart.
At the plate, the catcher, number 3, David Ross.
Oh, former Red David Ross, second start. Both have come with John Lester on the mound. Will intentionally walk him to get Leake into the 30s with his pitch count and face Lester, who's on deck.
Yeah, this is an interesting strategy in the bottom half of the first inning. But given the way it's gone, I think Brian Price is just trying to find the easiest path to the dugout for Mike Leake. Normally, you wouldn't consider an intentional walk this early in the ball game. You go ahead and feel like you should be able to get Ross out and then have Lester leading off the next inning. I still would probably favor that. If I were on the mound, I would be kind of looking in at the skip saying, "You sure, man?" Because I'd want to set up that next inning with the pitcher leading off.
See his career numbers and also 0 for 5 in the playoffs. The 8th batter of this opening inning.
That's a good swing.
Yeah.
That's a legit swing right there for a lifetime 0-0-0 hitter. Head down. Pretty good pass at it.
You didn't love it. Solid contact, but knocked down by Cozart, and a nifty flip to Brandon Phillips to end the inning. Lester hit that one hard. 3-3 after an inning.
The Cubs continue to battle the Reds. 2 more night games tomorrow and Wednesday, off day Thursday. Then the Padres in town for a 3-game set over the weekend. Tickets are available for every game. Get your tickets at Cubs.com.
The ball hit hard as Zach Cozart rolls one into left.
Now, one of the things you look for with John Lester is arm angle. When he's on top of the ball, he's got a little depth on that cutter. And the ball's got life down around the knees. If he starts to get under it a little bit, the ball kind of flattens out on him. And he gets hit hard. And now he's just kind of out there searching.
Well, how does Brian Price handle Mike Leake now? The guy who's a career .233 hitter. I don't think this is just a guaranteed bunt. But maybe it is.
Yeah, I guess if you're going to issue the intentional walk in the bottom half of the inning, you're probably going to bunt in the top half of the inning. Defensively, he was doing whatever he could to prevent that run. Now he's playing for a run with Leake up there.
Five hits already for Cincinnati. Got it foul for strike three. Wednesday night, the Blackhawks start their quest for the Cup. They'll be in Nashville to take on the Predators. Chevy Blackhawks pregame live starts at 7. Then game one of the Western Conference quarterfinals right here on CSN Chicago. And
I do believe number 88 is going to be playing.
Hearing rumors, yes. Is that they said that for sure? Been in baseball mode the last few hours.
I think I got a text from Kelly saying that Kano was going to be
Your
in.
Your daughter
there.
said he's in, then that's official for me.
Yeah. Cleared for full participation. And there's the sarcastic cheer as Lester flips one over to first base.
He did it once in spring training. And he might not have to be that accurate because, as you said, he's quick to the plate. You might just have to show that, yeah, I'll do it. So his first throw to first in 2 years.
Yeah, because what you want to do, if it's Billy Hamilton out there, you're probably not going to stop him from running anyway. But the marginal guys who typically don't run, if they feel like he's never going to come over, they're going to start to take liberties. So he's got to be able to do that on occasion just to shorten their lead a little bit. Because Cozart's got a huge lead.
And he throws this one away. And Cozart on his way to third. Solair's throw! Out by about 5 feet.
Solair says, I got your back, buddy. I got you covered. Boy, what a sweet turn of events for John Lester after the errant pickoff throw. Solair comes to the rescue. He's getting the ball just as Cozart gets to second base. That was an ill-advised attempt to go to third. After the game, Joe Madden said, that's the play we've been working on. That wasn't an errant throw. That was an intentional play.
It was a deke.
We've seen the power from Solair and now the arm.
DeGrom with a ground ball to short. Castro to Rizzo to end the inning. Boy, a lot to chew on after that half inning. 3-3. along on Comcast Sportsnet, brought to you by Nationwide agent Jeff Vukovich. Visit Jeff at jeffvuk.com. Nationwide is on your side. We'll chat in game with Patrick tomorrow night. Jorge Solair showing off not only a strong right arm, but an accurate one, and that matters a lot. A strong throwing arm with zero accuracy doesn't help anybody.
No.
Not in this game. Two balls and a strike on Jonathan Herrera, who made his first Cubs start yesterday. Got back in the lineup here tonight. Mike Holt's just going to get another day with the hand/wrist. Tommy La Stella still day to day with the side issue as he flies out. All right, so John Lester. So he makes the first throw to first, and then he makes the second one that's the errant throw. And I suppose he'll be asked after the game about throwing to first. Do we think he threw to first because of the scouting report and that guys were getting big leads, or is it just to kind of try to end this whole?
I think it's
100% strategic.
I think it's because of the leads and how aggressive they were, and the fact that he's got to show that he'll go over there to try to shut down that running game a little bit.
And after the errant throw, will he do it again? Is the other question.
Well, the nature is Cozart was taking such an aggressive lead on him, he had to do something. So, if he doesn't feel comfortable throwing over there conventionally the way a left-hander would, then I think he should just step off the rubber and kind of take a couple steps in his direction and back him off a little bit. My best advice right now would be just don't let anybody get on base.
Right. Well, that's. Well, the other thing is, statistically, it is not an issue. Teams have not run crazy on John Lester. So,
but I don't know that it's ever been the story that it has become all of a sudden here.
I totally agree.
So I think clubs are going to, and you can just see by the nature of the lead that Cozart had, and Bruce as well. And Bruce isn't a real. He can run a little bit, but he's not a great base stealer. But he had a huge lead.
Well, I'm sure opposing teams they're going to go on first movement.
Yeah,
and if he throws, they just say just keep going.
They're going to take real big leads and challenge him to go over. Right, because if he just kind of goes soft and gooses it over there, they're going to be able to even with an accurate throw, they're going to get their fair share of bags.
There's a lines one in the center. He's 2 out of 2. He's doubled his season hit total in these first 2 at bats.
That's pretty. It's Mike Leake's second start of the year. The first one came against the Pirates. Got a no decision. He struggled in that game, really labored. Walked 6, allowed 5 hits, and 5 2/3. He only allowed 3 runs.
Fly ball to right. Bruce over into the corner, still drifting, and he's got it on the warning track to end the inning. 2 out hit, no runs. Pitcher settling in after a rough first.
Wrigley Field, Cubs and Reds tied as we get set for the third here. John Lester back out on the mound, and we've been dissecting everything. A rocky first inning, the second, that errant throw, and now he's going to try and settle down here. One of the things Joe Maddon said following his first opening night start, guys, was to not forget the spring training and lack thereof of a routine he had. He's still kind of settling in here and trying to nail some things down, and so we have to keep in mind that that was shortened because of the dead arm and just not getting a lot of action there after that. So still maybe what could be considered his last spring training start here tonight. Now, of course, David Ross, who's catching for him, said you will never get him to tell you that, but I'll tell you he is still trying to work some things out. So I guess we can keep that in mind tonight as we continue to watch him.
Thanks, Kelly. Yeah, it was a different spring for him. He's in a different uniform. He's in a different league.
A lot of things to think about for John Lester signing the big contract. So much focus on him.
2-2 to Votto.
And given what we know about him, his reputation as a competitor, that's when it takes over. Struggled last time, got hit around here early tonight, had the errant throw on the pickoff. At some point, you just get mad and just start attacking people.
Ground ball to Castro, who backhands. Lots of time. Votto's out. When you say attacking people, you mean
just
pitching?
getting after, just compete. You know, you try to clear your mind of all those thoughts about the dead arm and the pickoff throws, and just say, wait a minute, I'm one of the best in the business. Let's go.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, the guy last year had an ERA of 2.46. 219 2/3 innings. One ball, one strike to Todd Frazier. Bust out year last year. He and Devin Mesoraco. The 2-1. It's now 3-1. John not happy at all with himself about that pitch. An opening day starter for the 5th consecutive time. Previous 4 came with the Red Sox. High fly, not deep. Fowler went back, now in, and he's got it.
Every Sunday afternoon game is a Kids Sunday at Wrigley Field. This Sunday, after the ball game, the first 1,000 kids 13 and younger with wristbands will be allowed on the field to run the bases. For more information on the Cubs Kids Sundays program, visit cubs.com/kids. So I don't think that means you just show up with wristbands. I think you'll be given wristbands if you're one of the first 1,000 in line, and then you get to run the bases.
Got it. Brandon Phillips. Single and a run in the first. Line drive the other way. It's down, and Phillips 2 for 2. So they have a hit in every inning. We'll bring up Marlon Byrd.
For a minute there, that Solair might come in and try to make a play on that ball. I think he made the right decision. 2 outs in the inning. You don't want to make a mistake and allow extra bases. Okay, so here we go. Does Phillips take that aggressive lead off first base?
The birthday wishes to pass along. Bia Khan and Mahmood Khan. Mahmood's birthday coming up. Well, big lead there. Lester with a curveball for ball one.
So who's got birthdays?
Safdar Khan's wife.
Oh.
Safdar, fine media relations coordinator with the Cubs. He wants to send out happy birthday wishes to his wife Bia. His dad Mahmood coming up later this month. To the first, safe. And Rizzo, I think, telling the dugout to maybe stall for time and take another look.
Yeah, that's the danger. If you take that big aggressive lead and you don't go, you better make sure you bust it back to the bag. Ooh, man.
He might have been out.
He was out.
Is it conclusive? This will give us the best look. Nope. So the challenge has been made. I think the first look we had was the best one. I think John Lester's teammates have decided they've got his back with this running game.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's what you got to do, right? If there's a deficiency somewhere, you have to try to make up for it in other areas. Ross doing his bit to try to keep Phillips tight.
See, that look, he's out, but is it 100% out or is it 98.5%? Just have to wait and see. Crowd responding as they're showing it on the
and the looks that
video
shown
board
on the big screen here aren't really conclusive, but fans being fans are really convinced that he was out.
See, the glove actually hides Phillips' right hand, which makes it even more difficult.
Yeah, they're taking some time, and understandably so. They'll get as many looks as possible.
Care to take a guess at what they will actually call?
Boy, this is our first one of the year. My guess is that they're going to say the play stands. They can't conclusively overturn it.
I would tend to agree, but
I think they had him, but I'm not convinced that they're going to be able to get a look that convinces them.
Dirt flying all over the place. It looked like the glove got to the hand first.
And his hand kind of bounces off the corner of the bag too after the initial tag, and I don't know if Anthony was able to keep the glove on there long enough. But that's tough. That's tough. That look right there, it would be very difficult to overturn that call. John Lester looking over in frustration as if to say, well, whatever it is, let's just go.
I think you got it right on the money. Probably a call stands. This is going to end the inning anyway. As Solair makes the catch, Bird is out. So are the Reds. 3-3. Indians in an early season and a late morning matinee. White Sox pregame live, presented by Lexus of Orleans, starts at 10:30 a.m. on CSN Chicago. Breakfast with the Sox on Wednesday.
Hawk and eggs.
Coghlan, Castro, Alcantara against Mike Leake. Both teams with 3 runs in the opening inning. Nothing since. Although we have had some action. Right-hander on a 1-1, and that one pounded on the ground. Wide of first, it's foul.
So as I mentioned, after Coghlan got that double last time off of Leake, he's now 6 for 6 off this right-hander. Normally 6 at-bats, plate appearances against the guys. Nowhere near enough of a sample to put any stock in, but when it's 6 out of 6, it certainly gets your attention. With 3 doubles.
Yeah, I would agree. Yeah, 2 for 2 doesn't really say much. But I don't even know if 6 for 6 does, but it's worth pointing out.
If nothing else, it's just an oddity. There's 2 ways to think about it. He owns Mike Leake, or he's just due to start making some outs against Mike Leake. Statisticians would probably argue the latter.
Seven for 7.
I don't know anything, those statisticians.
Chris trying to get 2, and he is out. And he's looking at Joe Madden, saying maybe you want to look at that one. Joe's going to come out and have a word with Andy Fletcher, the second base umpire. Just had a challenge that stood, was not reversed.
Yeah, I can understand Coghlan going here. Bird does not have a great arm, and he had to work his way towards the line to go get that ball. But the throw is on line. That speaks to your point earlier about you don't have to have a great arm if you have an accurate arm. Coghlan appears to get that left hand to the bag prior to being tagged by Phillips. Andy Fletcher, the second base umpire, is blocked. He's kind of on the other side of that play. Be very difficult for him to know exactly when that tag was applied.
So the new rule this year is a manager keeps his challenge after every call that is overturned. And as we said in the last half inning, it was not overturned. I think he was out. I think they got it right. Don't you?
No,
you don't?
I don't. The ball beat him, but I
thought he got him right there.
The first look we had at it looked like to me that the tag missed the front arm and got the right shoulder or upper body after the left hand got in.
Okay.
Prior to replay, that would be nobody would argue that call. Because look at the throws there, the glove is down. I just think Phillips didn't get him until.
Maybe you're right. Yep, you're right.
Yeah, until late.
First look, I thought he had him, but that one.
That's that's why umpiring is so. I mean, it's easier now because of replay because they have a better chance of getting it right. But it's so difficult because of replay because your initial what your eyes tell you and what actually happened many times are 2 different things.
Topped foul. The other point of that particular play, JD, is it does tell you that managers have to be as objective as possible in terms of the information they get from their video people to challenge anything in the first 6 innings.
Right.
Because if you go on your emotions and a player's going, come on, I was safe, and you lose that challenge, then you might have another play like we just saw.
Right.
I don't think that was the case in the play at first. I think the Cubs thought he was out. It just didn't get overturned.
So I think the question becomes, is he out enough? Is the look that we're going to get at it enough for these umpires? And that's very difficult to make that decision in a short amount of time. I would imagine an umpire like, or a manager like Joe Madden, I wouldn't be surprised to see him come up with like a number system with his guys. Like if Rizzo says, I think I got him. Well, 1 to 10. Right. I feel like, is it to 10 you got him, or is it a 7 you got him?
Curve strike on Alcantara. We've had more interesting things happen in the scoreless innings than in the ones in which the teams each scored 3. As strange as that is to say, inside 2-2.
Pitchers have started to walk off the mound here thinking they've had an inside corner. Jerry Meals hasn't called it.
Strike 3 that time. 3-3 after Corey.
Free to tree and a turn. Cubs Club, the official fan club of the Chicago Cubs. Members will enjoy game day audio and exclusive perks throughout the 2015 Cubs season. Now is the perfect time to join, rejoin, or give a fellow Cubs fan the gift of a Cubs Club membership. To join today, visit Cubs.com.
1-0 on Jay Bruce. 4th inning, 3-3. All the runs came in the opening frame. Short left, Coughlin will make the catch. We want to pass along our condolences to the family of a lifelong Cub fan who recently passed away, Jose Flores. He's passed away at age 71. And thinking about his family. Well, Brian Pena grounded to short in the opening inning. Curve missing. So it's probably worth a refresher on the challenge system, right? Just a quick.
Yeah.
We've had one unsuccessful challenge and another one that the Cubs may have wanted if they had one. Reading from the official rules on MLB.com, each club gets one manager challenge. To start each game, a manager may challenge as many reviewable calls within a single play as he desires using the one challenge. It's not overturned. The club will lose the ability to challenge any additional play or call in the game. Any challenge call that's overturned by a club, club may challenge one additional play or call in the game. So every time you're right, you get an extra one. Fowler over, and the slide and the catch. Smooth. Dexter Fowler robbing Brian Pena.
Used up a lot of real estate with those long legs. This ball looked like it may have been working its way back the other way on him. Well done. Lester in pursuit of a 1-2-3 inning for the first time tonight. Well, he had one in the second with Kozar being thrown out at second. So what about the manager going out to argue even after he's already exhausted his challenge?
Yeah, I thought that would be somewhat eliminated, but Joe was allowed to say his piece after Coghlan was called out. The other thing that I like that we've seen a little bit, and Joe's kind of taken a few steps out of the dugout, but they can challenge from the dugout. They don't have to go all the way out to the umpire anymore for the sake of time. Manager must use a challenge in order to review whether a play at home plate included a violation of that home plate collision rule. The crew chief can do it in the 7th inning or later. But before the 7th, the manager has to use a challenge for that particular play, which is a change from last year. Bounce to Castro at short. And John Lester with a 1-2-3, 4th inning. Still tied. And its fans will help those affected by tornadoes that swept through Fairdale and Rochelle, Illinois last week. That'll happen tomorrow night. Cubs associates will collect monetary donations at the gates here at Wrigley Field before the start of the game. And money raised will benefit the Illinois Tornado Relief Effort, a campaign of the McCormick Foundation to support nonprofits providing disaster relief and recovery efforts to those communities hit the hardest by the tornadoes. Also, the Cubs Charities 50-50 raffle proceeds from that will benefit the cause as well. If you'd like to give but can't make it to the park, Cubs.com/give. So that's tomorrow night. Strike called on David Ross.
Breaking balls to get started here. Looks like Leake's starting to get a better feel for his breaking stuff. I mean, that was the case last inning. David Ross, the former Cincinnati Red, had a couple of real nice years there. Career high 21 home runs for Cincinnati in 2006. And 17 the next year.
JD, let me add one thing, actually a couple things to the replay conversation. Tag-up plays are now reviewable. We can find out if a player left early on a tag-up play. That was not under the replay rules last year. And postseason games and tiebreakers and the All-Star game, you'll get 2 challenges, not just 1. Pena has room and stumbles but makes the catch.
Spin will always bring that ball back towards the field of play, and unfortunately for Ross, it stays in, and Pena hangs in there and makes a play.
Lester hit one hard his first time up. Fielder's choice, ground out to short.
A couple really good swings in that at bat. Hendricks with an RBI single yesterday. Jason Hamill had a couple of knocks in his start over in Colorado. Pitchers look like they're going to be able to do their fair share and helping themselves out.
Will land foul on the ledge in his bid for his first big league hit. By the way, I'm getting tweets praising my Pat Foley. That was you, actually. Tree in the turd. Nicely done, partner.
Yeah, well, we got it. Fired up for the playoffs.
So it's tree after 4. Oh wait, that's only on number 2. So I got the pitcher batting 9. Cubs Authentics is the premier outlet for all MLB authenticated game used and autographed Cubs memorabilia. Go to Cubs.com/authentics and bid on weekly auction items, including MLB authenticated game used balls, jerseys, bases, and much more. 773-404-4753 for more info. All net proceeds of Cubs Authentics benefit Cubs charities. Two out of Herrera's in there. It's 2-1. Herrera showed bunt. Thought he was going to take ball 3, but instead it was strike 2.
Two-seam runner came back to the corner.
Negron over in the left center. He's got it. Is the inning over yet? 1, 2, 3 outs.
That is Tree. Yeah.
Okay, after 4, it's Tree.
7 on CSN Chicago.
Mike Leake will start it for the Reds. Did you notice the all-time series? It's pretty close. You know, the Cubs have a one-game advantage since 1890. 1,113 wins, 1,112 losses against the Cincinnati ball club.
They've been doing it a long time. The recent history is really slanted heavily towards the Reds, although the Cubs, last time the Reds were in town, swept them in a 3-game series, and the Reds only scored 1 run.
Cubs are 17-37 versus Cincy the last 3 seasons. They have not won a season series over the last 5. So we'd like to turn that around this season. 19 matchups in all. Cut and a miss, strike 3. Kind of feels like John Lester's back.
Yeah, both starting pitchers settling in, and Lester after that first inning. Command issues and the errant throw at first base seems to have put that behind him for now. And you get the sense that both these starting pitchers like to work quickly, and they're trying to push the tempo a little bit after that sluggish start.
Lester only has 2 strikeouts. Both have been against Leake. Two and 0. Tigers lost in Pittsburgh 5-4. First defeat of the season. But the Royals won 12-3 at Minnesota. Kansas City off to a 7-0 start. Rolled into the upper deck.
Pirates got a solid start from Garrett Cole. They got home runs from Alvarez Harrison and Corey Hart. Hart as a pinch hitter.
Second best start in Royals history. 0-3. They won 9 straight to begin the season. Oh, Lester.
He's really mad at himself. He's fighting his mechanics. He feels like he's drifting forward, not staying back long enough to get on top of that ball. There you go.
Well, strike 3. Lester did have a couple of words for Jerry Meals after the first inning, but pretty smooth since.
Yeah, when you see a pitcher act demonstrably out there on the mound, you think he's upset with the umpire, but clearly he was upset with himself with his delivery, and then made a nice adjustment, got the ball down around the knees for the strikeout.
And we should explain the reason that is correct. What you say is a veteran like Lester's not going to show up a home plate umpire to that extent, right?
No, yeah, he might bark, but you're not going to see that kind of
hand gestures.
Yeah.
Triple and a run in the first for Votto, and he lines to Alcantara. Couple of strikeouts in the line out. That is now 7 straight retired by Lester. Bottom of the 5th and a 3-3 tie. Strike on Dexter Fowler, who has struck out and grounded out. Hitting the game-winning home run in the 9th inning yesterday. Most teams trailing go to the 9th, lose. The Cubs lost every game last year in which they trailed entering the 9th. They were 0-79. Usually you win a couple.
Yeah, 1 or 2. Yeah.
Strike 3 on the inside corner. Fowler not so sure. Fourth strikeout. 3 have been looking.
He started with the backdoor breaking ball, got a call for strike 1, and then started pounding away at that inside corner with those come on back 2 seamers. Nick has really hit his stride here. Not an answer for Rizzo, though. 2 solid singles so far tonight. You ever hear an announcer say he boxed the ball? That was it right there. It's a good video of a catcher boxing the ball. Just completely clanked it, almost pancaked it.
What's the difference between pancaking it and waffling it?
Well, I think if you waffle the ball, you hit it hard.
Okay.
Pancake it, you just kind of smash it into the ground. Expecting this thing to do one thing and it does another, and he gets all turned around on it. He doesn't really throw anything straight. His fastball has good run and sink, and occasionally a cutter. Good sinker right there, well placed. Before he kind of got his footing, he got ambushed by the Cubs, and Solair hit his first home run of the year.
Later fly to the warning track in right. It's a strike in the outer third. Even a 2 apiece. Topped right back to the pitcher Leak to end the inning. We're tied at 3 after 5. 15 to 55 guests and include food, all you can drink, beverages, and parking. To book your premier experience at the ballpark, visit Cubs.com/suites. Started out looking like a slugfest. We have the same score in the 6th as we did after 1. On Todd Frazier. 1-1. Lester from Tacoma, Washington. Second round pick of the Boston Red Sox in 2002. Front office by Theo Epstein and Jed Hoyer, very familiar with John Lester, of course. He's their top free agent target in the offseason as Frazier flies to left. To Bellarmine Prep in Tacoma.
Stepping to the plate, the second baseman, Brandon Phillips.
Cancer survivor. And we know the connection with Anthony Rizzo, and when Rizzo was a young player in the Red Sox organization, John Lester talked to him about getting through his health issues.
Yeah, now they find themselves teammates, cornerstones here for the Cubs.
Yeah, I'm sure they talked years ago about being teammates, but wearing a different uniform.
Yeah. Red instead of blue, and boy, what a thrill it would be to hoist a trophy together. That's the plan.
Lester, a former Tony Conigliaro Award winner. That ball floated into left. Good night for Phillips. 3 at bats, 3 hits.
Left fielder, Marlon Bird.
And now the running game becomes even more important as you get a little bit deeper into the ball game. We'll see what Phillips' intentions are here with 1 out in the 6th.
See, we've got the slash lines this year. That's new. Batting average, on base percentage, slugging. A tweet from Jared McKieran asking about that. Good catch. Happy 30th birthday to Cub fan David Arthur watching us tonight.
Any relation to B?
I do not know. Scott Griffith from the Quad Cities sending us a tweet as Father Robert passed away. Huge Cub fan. Condolences. 1-1. Fair ball into the left field corner. Phillips around second on his way to third. Jim Riggleman giving him the go sign, and the relay throw will not be made. Bird with his second RBI tonight, and the Reds lead 4-3.
Well, that's the other piece of the equation too, with the base runners on and Lester trying to do everything he can to hold them tight. Whether it's swung over there or not, you wonder about the concentration with the hitter. That's the case for every pitcher, of course. And whacks this one into the left field corner, and Riggleman brings Phillips all the way around to score.
Lester had gotten in a groove, but the Reds taking their second lead of the night with back-to-back hits here in the 6th inning. Bullpen still quiet.
That's the problem for when you give up that big number in the first, and your margin for error is pretty small.
Hey, guess who had 3 more hits today?
DJ LeMahieu.
He did. 3 for 4 in the Rockies win at San Francisco. He's hitting .517 to start the year. Lance was ready to fire to second.
3 hits with regularity, and John Lester looking at it. Jerry Meals wanting to know where that ball was, and Meals might say, well, your catcher popped up on me and I didn't get a real good look at it.
Swing and a miss, 2-2. Curve at 75.
This off-speed breaking ball getting the swing and miss from Bruce. You see that previous one, number 3 there on the box. Borderline. A bit below the knees.
And the Reds will score again. This one's going to go to the wall. Jay Bruce, his second RBI. 5-3. One of the other issues tonight, JD, is he hasn't missed a lot of bats.
No. 3 strikeouts, and the opposing pitcher leaked 2 of them. And some soft hits, but there's been a lot of solid contact as well.
Mr. wanted that call. We'll see some action in the Cubs pen.
They said at the beginning of the ball game that it should be advantage Lester because these Reds hitters haven't seen them, and that normally is the case. But sometimes it can be a bit of a challenge for a pitcher too. Even though you don't want guys to get too familiar with your stuff, until you face guys a few times, you don't know their tendencies, their strengths and weaknesses. You can look at video, you can read scouting reports, but you learn a whole lot from that confrontation.
Opposite field base hit. Runner holding at third. That's Bruce. Pena now 1 for 3. 4 consecutive hits in the 6th.
Yeah, this inning very much like that first inning when they had 4 hits, 3 in a row, a lot of solid contact. Brian Schlitter starts to crank it up in the bullpen. He's in on his hands. He doesn't hit it all that hard. It's a knock.
Cozart. More for his glove than his bat. He's 1 for 2 tonight.
Yeah, well, this is that situation where a lot of managers like to put on a safety squeeze. First and third, 1 out.
Play at third. Bruce able to read it.
Would have been the conversation that Bosio had out there. Not a pitch out, but a pitch up. You throw a fastball way up in the zone, you know the hitter's not going to offer at it.
Two 2-0 on Cozart. It comes 3-0. The pitcher Leak on deck. Looks like Schlitter is ready in the Cubs bullpen. A 3-1. Castro, Alcantara, safe at first. And it's 6-3. Cozart with his first RBI.
Getting next, the pitcher, Mike Lee.
If that throws on the money, Cozart would have beaten the play at first base.
Cozart at first, 2 outs. Leak with a big cut. Just knocked somebody off of that top step. In the middle of the Cubs dugout. It's Brandon Hyde. Is Hyde being the right word? One, 1-2. I mentioned it. No Johnny Cueto in this series. His next start scheduled for Friday in St. Louis. Anthony DeSclafani and former Cub Jason Marquis has resumed his big league career. The next 2 nights, Jake Arrieta, Travis Wood, the former Red, for the Cubs. Swing and a miss. Strike 3 might be it for Lester tonight. Trailing 6-3. Chris Coughlin, especially against opposing starters, a T-Mobile game changer. You see 7 for 7 versus Mike Leake. He's 4 for 4 against Jordan Lyles as well. And he's been the cleanup guy.
Yeah, well, so I wonder what the record is for a hitter versus a pitcher.
The starter career.
Yeah, has anybody got like 12 for 12 off a guy or something like that? Coughlin might be getting close.
Second time the Cubs have trailed by 3.
There's a note in the Reds press notes tonight that Billy Hamilton, the speedster, is 7 out of 7 in stolen bases attempts against Yadier Molina.
Like Matt Adams' success against Clayton Kershaw.
What's he done? Some serious damage? Yeah, like a Goldschmidt too. Oh no, it's Goldschmidt and Lincecum, right?
Right. It's Billy Hamilton with a finger injury. For number 8.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the he owns him theory. Starting to buy it. Unbelievable. Mike Leake has no clue how to get Chris Coghlan out. Well, he might know how, he just hasn't been able to execute it. Coghlan double, single, home run now tonight. Here's your phone home run replay. Number 2 on the year for Coghlan.
Right field, Bruce over. He's got it. What a grab by Jay Bruce as he robs Starlin Castro.
Well, that's such a dangerous play for an outfielder. He's trying to pursue that ball. You don't want to give up on it, possibly give up extra bases, but you know you're running out of room and you're about to run into a brick wall. Be it a padded one, but still pretty good injury risk there. Nice play by Bruce.
Two and 0 on Alcantara. Inside corner. Leake coming back, bunted, but a little bit too hard, as we mentioned. Leake fields his position very well. He pounced on that one.
Yeah, that's the challenge. You try to push a bunt down there, and Herrera was showing bunt earlier, so I don't know if they feel like they can force Frazier to make a play if they think they got a chance to get a base hit. But with Leake on the mound, that changes the equation a little bit. He's awfully quick. He's about as good as they come defensively.
Ross needed an extra second. I haven't looked this up. I've got to believe David Ross has set the all-time record for 2-year contracts for a backup catcher, right? He has signed 5 2-year deals in his career. I think he told me in spring training he's never gone to any camp on a minor league deal.
Really?
Always signed a big league contract. Tells you about his reputation in this game. Games he has played in a season, 112 with the 07 Reds. A roller to Cozart. That'll end the inning. Chris Coghlan perfect in his career against Mike Leake. This is hit number 8. Second home run of the short season. And the Cubs are within 2.
Tampa still trailing by 2 to the Reds right now. John Lester's evening done. Brian Schlitter out on the mound. And one of the things Joe Maddon mentioned back in spring training was that it would take him a while to figure out the arms he had in his pen. And he said just in 5 days, one thing he has figured out is they are very good and a very confident group. He says the relievers, it's all about confidence with them. The matchup's such a big thing for him. He says not just the righty versus lefty or lefty versus righty, but rather having a guy up there who just feels like he can own, as we've been talking about, a hitter. He goes, nothing bothers me more as a manager than having a guy out there who doesn't feel confident going against the guy at the plate. But certainly just in the few games he's seen his arms, he likes a lot of what he's seeing from these guys.
Kelly, thank you. Here's Brian Schlitter. You see his appearance on Friday as he replaced Justin Grimm, who went into the DL. Get you John Lester's line here in a second. Negron, Votto, Frazier. And fouled away. 6 innings, 10 hits, 6 runs, no walks, 4 strikeouts, 95 pitches for Lester.
Yeah, I did some good work there in the middle innings after giving up the 3 spot in the first, but ultimately not a pretty line for John Lester tonight.
3 bounces. Castro with the off-balance throw gets Negron.
But John Lester, year in and year out, gives his club 32, 33 starts, so he's got a whole bunch of opportunities going forward to turn things around, and no doubt he will.
Members from the Tony Award-winning musical The Book of Mormon conducting the 7th inning stretch tonight. Lead cast members David Larson, Cody Jamison Strand. 1-0 to Votto.
Distal quad strain in the left knee for Votto last year that caused him to miss 99 ball games. Did not play after July 6th. Not that Votto's ever been heavy, but he looks svelte here in 2015. 31 years of age now. Since he came into the league, he has the highest on-base percentage, the 2nd highest batting average, and the 5th highest slugging percentage of anybody in baseball. Yes, I said 5th highest slugging percentage. He takes a lot of heat because of all the walks he draws and the high on base percentage, but he is not a one-dimensional hitter.
And if there's a guy in the big leagues after whom Anthony Rizzo patterns his offensive game, I think it's Joey Votto.
Yeah, I would agree. He's shown that good patience at the plate.
2 hit on the ground to Alcantara at second. Easy play. 2 outs.
Schlitter, when he's on his game, will get a lot of ground ball outs. He throws 2-seam fastballs. A high percentage of the time, 93 to 95 miles an hour. Got touched up in Colorado on Friday, allowed 3 hits, 2 runs, gave up the home run to Justin Morneau.
Swinging strike on Todd Frazier, 96. And that pitch from Brian Schlitter. Charged by Herrera. And it's time for the 7th inning stretch from Wrigley Field.
Tonight's guest conductors for Take Me Out to the Ball Game, Book of Mormon's David Larson and Cody Strand.
All right, Cubs fans, let's hear ya! A 1, a 2, a 3! Take me out to the ball game. Take me out to the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jacks.
Matt Caesar pinch hitting for Brian Schlitter, and he towers one to Marlon Byrd in left. Leake with a 2-run lead here late as he nears 100 pitches.
Showing that first pitch breaking ball quite often. Caesar went up there, I think, looking for it. Put a pretty good swing on it. Just maybe out in front a little bit.
Hitting next, the third baseman, Jonathan Herrera.
Herrera has flied to center both times. Switch batter, hitting left-handed, and a strike.
Nice job by Brian Schlitter tonight. 3 up, 3 down, 3 ground ball outs.
Yeah, that's his job with that heavy sinker. Leake. So a good sinker working tonight as well. This Friday, April the 17th, the Cubs will host the new-look San Diego Padres at 1:20. The first 10,000 fans in attendance get a Cubs winter aviator hat presented by Pepsi. For more information or to purchase seats, visit Cubs.com. Mets home opener, 2-0 winner over the Phillies. Jacob deGrom, very good in that one. Matt Harvey will pitch tomorrow. You didn't get the Stripes reference, did you? Lee Harvey. 6-4 Reds.
By Coors Light begins at 6:30 on CSN Plus. Hawks and Bulls Wednesday. Bulls winners tonight over the Nets, 113-86.
Among the changes, Jason Mott will do the pitching. Chris Coughlin's played some infield. Not a whole lot, but he's playing third right now. The Cubs are a little short with Olt and La Stella maladies. Matt Caesar stays in and plays left. So Coughlin actually started in his pro career in the minor leagues in the Marlins chain as a third baseman. He played some second, then went to the outfield.
And towards the end of last year, he took some ground balls on the infield. I don't believe he got in a game, did he? On the infield last year, but I know he was starting to take some ground balls. When he was with the Marlins, they have Sheffield over there at the time. Somebody had him blocked at third base when he was in their system.
Phillips in the air. Caesar dives, and he just knocked it down. Could not grab it. And Brandon Phillips is on yet again. He's got 4 hits. Good effort by Caesar.
Yeah, we talked about Joey Votto coming back from injury and Jay Bruce needing to bounce back after a tough year. Same applies for Brandon Phillips. He really had an off year last year. 4-hit night tonight. Andy Fletcher, the second base umpire, initially ruled a catch.
Oh, hit the heel. He overran it a bit. Now this is Coughlin's first inning in the infield as a Cub. This pitch swinging Marlon Byrd with an infield pop-up. Alcantara will make the catch. Cubs invite you to take advantage of free remote parking and shuttle services on night and weekend games. The remote parking lot is located at 3900 North Rockwell. For details, visit Cubs.com. Ball 1 on Jay Bruce. They had a guy named Miguel Cabrera.
Cabrera, yeah.
Third base. Coughlin was in their minor league system.
Jumbo Diaz. Playing all that outfield, he's probably tempted to try to run down that pop-up that Alcantara caught. It's a bit of an issue for guys when they move from the outfield to the infield. Just roaming long distances to catch fly balls.
Fun to compare Miguel Cabrera and Albert Pujols. Pujols is older, came up a couple of years before Cabrera. Pujols 15 years, 317 lifetime average, 403 on base, 588 slugging. Cabrera 321 career average, 397 on base, 565 slugging. Does not seem to be slowing down. Swing and a miss, strike 3.
Punch out of a dangerous hitter. On base plus slugging active. Number 1 Albert Pujols, 990. Cabrera 2 at 962. Joey Votto 3rd, 951.
Won't see Albert in the regular season. We will see Miguel Cabrera here and in Detroit. That ball gets away from Ross and allows Phillips to advance.
Nice ball charged to Ross. A little late cutting action. Might be a strike. Might have been a strike had he caught it.
Pretty interesting that Miguel Cabrera was a shortstop originally.
Yeah.
People think of him as a shortstop. But as we've said many times, most good players start as
well,
shortstops.
he's got really good hand. He just kind of grew out of that shortstop body.
Cubs shortstop Starlin Castro makes the catch. We'll go to the bottom of the 8th. Getting late. Cubs are down a couple, 6-4. .15 with MLB.com at Bat, the #1 app for live baseball. Bat is up to the moment, at any moment, with in-game highlights, live look-ins, replay reviews, radio broadcast, StatCast, and more. At MLB.com at Bat for your smartphone or tablet.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Jumbo Diaz here in the 8th inning.
And Price has not hesitated to call Jumbo Diaz name this year. He's working for the 5th time already. After appearing in 30-plus ball games for the Reds last year, debuting in 2014 at the age of 30. Big, strong, hard-throwing Jumbo Diaz. Control issues and weight issues kept him in the minor leagues for a good long while. He dropped a bunch of weight.
And he was up to almost 350. Listed at 280. Gotta love sports. Tiny Archibald and Jumbo Diaz. Way inside on Rizzo.
Turning loose, 95-mile-an-hour fastball, pushing Rizzo off the plate a little bit. Also throws a slider and a split finger pitch.
Cubs were down 2 late yesterday in Colorado. Scored 3 in the 9th. 3 balls, no strikes. He signed with the Dodgers. Diaz did back in 2001, but as you mentioned, did not get to the big leagues until last year. And you look at a guy with his stuff and you go 96. How did it take him so long? Well, look around baseball. A lot of guys throw that hard. Ball 4.
Yeah, and a high walk rate throughout his minor league career.
First walk, first unintentional walk.
I believe you are correct, sir.
For both teams.
Yeah.
Leak with an intentional free pass of David Ross in the first inning.
You know, Aroldis Chapman's probably got the 9th. He worked yesterday. He's worked 5 times already, but I assume he's available. This would be a good time to get it done.
Rolled away.
Solair a little frustrated. Thought he had a pitch he could do something with. This is 96 with a little run. Just underneath it a little bit. Didn't quite get the head out in front. Only takes one, as Dexter Fowler proved yesterday.
Drilled to center. It's deep, and it is gone. We're tied. Number 2 tonight for Solair. It's 6-6.
Only takes one. Diaz throwing hard, but not hitting his spots, and Solair makes him pay. See, Pena's up. He wants an elevated fastball up about shoulder high, and it's out over the plate and a little bit above the knees. And look at the reaction by Pena, the catcher. He knew it. Oh my, what a swing.
That was a jumbo jet that left the ballpark. A delay there. Finally got the curtain call. A 6-6 tie. More bullpen issues for the Reds. Oakland, meantime, has reached in his last 6 consecutive plate appearances going back to yesterday. 2 walks and a double. Tonight a double, a single, and a home run.
Doubted by Coughlin. Bouncing his step. He's feeling pretty good about his game right now. So no decisions for Lester and Leak.
Here's a 1-2 to Coughlin. Popped him up. Shallow right field. Brandon Phillips. 1 away. That will bring up Castro. Singled home a run in the first. Grounded out in the third. Retired on a nice play on a ball hit down the right field line. Jade Bruce in the 6th.
Buzz in the ballpark after that Solair home run.
One to Castro. The night for Solair. Bailed out John Lester on an errant pickoff throw earlier and has hit 2 home runs. difference in the offense the last 3 days. Castro could not hold up that time.
7 long balls in the last 3 ball games. This Cub lineup. Pena and Diaz have gone to plan B here after that home run. They've thrown a lot more sliders. Careful fastball at 97.
Bounce to third, fair ball. Frazier over to Votto. 2 outs.
Second baseman, number 7. There is Bendy Alcantara.
Alcantara now 0 for 3. In the ballgame, 0 for 15 to start the season. Six tie. Jorge Solair with a game-time 2-run shot.
Be ready right here. That's it. So 2 ways to play it here with Alcantara. Because he is a speed guy, you could say, well, let's go ahead and take a pitch here, see if we can work a walk and steal a base. But he does have extra base power. May give him the green light.
Ross is on deck. The Cubs have 3 catchers, but Joe Madden may be a little more cautious tonight with his pinch hitters. Just because he's got a short bench.
Yeah, and it's a tie game, too. If you're behind a run, then you're more willing to use your resources. In a tie game, you never know how long you're going to end up playing, so you tend to want to hang on.
And we now welcome those viewers who watched the Bulls beat the Brooklyn Nets tonight. Another thriller. Cubs tied with the Reds 6-6 in the 8th. Jorge Soler just hit his second 2-run homer of the night.
He's got a real good chance of being the first star tonight. 3-star selection.
The full count delivery. Punched foul out of play. Paid crowd tonight 26,390. As most Cub fans know, the bleachers are closed as they're being renovated here early on in the season. Chopped to Brandon Phillips, and that'll end the inning. Leadoff walk Rizzo, and then Solair came up and hit a bullet into the juniper bushes in center to send us to the ninth, tied at 6. Jorge Solair has done it all tonight.
Either a sinker or maybe a little backdoor cutter, backed up a little bit on Leake, and then trying to go high fastball. Diaz threw it down. Solair liked it down there. He's driven in 4.
So a 6-6 deadlock, and here's Pedro Strop against Zach Cozart.
Softer breaking ball there from Strop. Just missing the outside corner. Schlitter, Mott, both scoreless innings in relief of John Lester. So far, so good for the hard-throwing right-hander. Jerry Meals, the home plate umpire, has been pretty consistent tonight. That borderline low pitch, giving the pitchers much leeway on that one.
There's Aroldis Chapman. Two balls, 2 strikes. Yeah, that 2-2 pitch, you don't have to throw a strike, but you want to at least give the illusion of one. Not facing 3-2.
It was a ball the minute he left his hand.
I got it.
Don't leave your feet. It wouldn't end well. Cozart, a slick defender, one of the best defensive shortstops in either league. Didn't do a whole lot with the bat. 221 last year. 2 previous seasons he hit some home runs. He had 12 home runs in 2013, 15 the year before, but just 4 long balls last year. Over 500 at bats.
And he got him. A very awkward cut.
He did that little quick pitch thing on him. Cozart wasn't ready. Took a little emergency hack and couldn't get a piece.
Ladies and gentlemen, pinch hitting for Cincinnati, number 55, Skip Schumacher.
The Brewers spoiled the Cardinals home opener this afternoon. 5-4 the final. Matt Garza beat Adam Wainwright.
Skip Schumacher will hit for Jumbo Diaz.
Spazio out there to go over the scouting report on Schumacher. See the story on Tom Wilhelmsen, the reliever for the
No, I didn't know.
Mariners? He was placed on the DL after a collision in the bullpen. He got up the stretch and bumped into one of his teammates and hyperextended his arm.
That's not good.
It's funky, huh?
Popped up. Coughlin now playing third, backpedaling, but it'll be Castro, the shortstop, with a better angle on it, and 2 outs. AT&T U-verse multi-view. How about the outfielders? Although Coughlin was broken away from the group, at least momentarily, now playing third with the home run power. Fowler, a game winner yesterday. Solair's hit 2 tonight. Coughlin He's connected twice here in the early going. Negron takes a strike. Fly ball to center. Easy play, Fowler. Bullpen continuing to do excellent work. Cubs with a chance to win it in the bottom of the ninth, tied at 6. Against right-hander J.J. Hoover, who will try to get the Reds into extra innings.
Hoover, a former starting pitcher in the Atlanta Braves organization, a 4-pitch mix. We don't normally see that out of a reliever. Works for the 3rd time this year. He pitched 54 times for the Reds last year, all in relief. He was 1-10 with a 488 earned run average. One-loss record for a relief pitcher can sometimes be really misleading, whether it's really good or really bad. But the one thing that jumps out at you when you look at his stat line from last year, he allowed 13 home runs in 62 and 2/3 innings. He's an extreme fly ball pitcher. And that's a dangerous combination late in tight ball games.
Reds have already gone to extras twice. Beat the Pirates on the 8th and 11th innings and lost yesterday to the Cardinals in 11. Montero, ball 1. Hoover's pitch missed again, 2-0. Three balls, no strikes. Well, Alcantara had a green light. I would imagine Montero in a tie game does too. Though with nobody out, it would be the perfect pitch. And he took it all the way.
And some guys just aren't comfortable swinging 3-0. Yeah, that ball was inside corner. If you're going to swing 3-0, you're probably looking something out over the plate a little bit.
There's ball 4.
And that featured no walks could prove very big here in the 9th, as it did in the 8th. Rizzo started the 8th with a leadoff walk before the Solair home run.
And here's Caesar. Frazier already way in at third, and a strike as Caesar did not show bunt. Wellington Castillo has gone into the on deck circle. It's for Strope. Big hit for Castillo in the ninth. There's the bunt by Caesar. And Phillips over to cover first. So he gets the job done and nearly reached himself. 1-4 on the sac bunt.
Yeah, I think the reason why he wasn't bunting at that first pitch is because Hoover wasn't around the strike zone with Montero up there. So Joe Madden probably figured, well, why give him an out if he's not going to throw a strike? But after he threw strike one, put the bunt on, Caesar got it down.
Ladies and gentlemen, hitting for the Cubs.
Chance for Wellington Castillo to drive in the game winner.
Well, I'm sure Joe has at least thought about pinch running for Montero using Travis Wood. You mentioned the short bench, but you'd be down to your last catcher in Castillo. So Montero stays in and represents the winning run at second base. Couple of shots here. Runner at second, one out. Castillo swings away and fouls out of play. Solair hoping his big night helps the Cubs win. They've got that opportunity here in the last of the ninth. A little anxious there to drive in that run. 1-2.
Gary Jones, the third base coach. A keen eye on these Reds outfielders, where their position. Jay Bruce in right field has a cannon for an arm. Nobody out, you'd play it somewhat cautiously, conservatively. With two outs, you'd be really aggressive. With one out, you're somewhere in between.
That kind of makes sense.
Plus, you got your lineup turning over here with Fowler and then Rizzo.
Castillo drills it to left. Bird with the catch and the throw back to second. Montero able to just get back in time. Marlon Bird, a game-saving catch. That ball was thumped by Castillo.
Wow, yeah. Two really good at-bats off the bench by Castillo yesterday and today. Delivered a hit yesterday. Here he just hits a rocket. This thing might have been knuckling on Bird, and Montero able to scramble back.
Crowd buzzing here as Dexter Fowler, who hit the game-winning homer yesterday, digs in.
Celebration on hold temporarily, at least. Ooh, was it?
Fowler reaches for the plate for strike one.
No.
Ground ball to first, bobbled by Votto, and Hoover covering. It goes 3-1, and we will go to extras, 6-6. Presented by Jack Link's Beef Jerky all season long. Jack Link's Beef Jerky. Feed your wild side. Montero catches for Hector Rondon, the closer, tries to keep the game tied here in the 10th inning. Cubs playing extras. First time this season.
Rondon 2 for 2 so far in save conversions, including yesterday's ball game against the Rockies. Gave up a 2-out double of Charlie Blackmon, but left him standing at third base, popping up Carlos Gonzalez to end that ball game. Votto, Frazier, and Phillips here in the 10th.
Should correct myself. Cubs down to their last catcher anyway, with Castillo pinch hitting in that 9th inning, along with Montero as Votto fouls away. 6-6, 10th inning. One ball, one strike. Votto has that subtle move on anything off the inside corner where he just kind of sticks his rear end out to really give that home plate umpire the appearance of a pitch off the plate.
Votto was such good power the other way. A good left center stroke, but he's quick inside too. Now and then he'll cheat on one in there and hit it a long way on the pull side.
From the wind, Votto to right, Solair back on it. Whew, it stayed in. I thought it might get out right in the well area. He missed a go-ahead homer by a couple of feet. As it is, that's a leadoff two-bagger. Well, that was close.
Yeah, Joey Votto appears to be all the way back after the leg injury last year. He's hit 3 home runs already this year, triple and a double here tonight. That's a heck of a swing. That's a good pitch too. Slider down and in.
Basket juts out here at Wrigley Field, and it almost caught that fly ball. So that brings up Frazier. He swings and misses. You're not going to ask Todd Frazier normally to bunt. He was swinging away. Back to Rondon. Votto caught between second and third, and he's out. Well, I don't know why Votto didn't stop once he knew he was going to be out to try to allow Frazier to get to second.
Yeah, I don't know if he just wanted to force Rondon to make a throw, but base runners are taught if the ball's behind him to go, but that one never cleared the mound. It's always a tough read when there's a ball that a pitcher can get to. That's see base runners flummoxed by that one a lot. Not an accurate throw. He almost got away with it. Oakland doing a nice job coming back to apply the tag.
So now the ground ball could possibly end the inning. Pitch to Brandon Phillips inside, and he held. Singles off Lester in the first, third, and sixth, and then a base hit off Mott in the eighth. He's 4 out of 4. He was 4 for 23 going into the game tonight. Two 2-0.
That's the time of the year where you can go from ice cold to red hot in one day.
Average has gone up 122 points. Line shot. Caesar makes the catch. Wow. Phillips has 4 hits. I don't think any of them were hit harder than that.
No. Apparently seeing the ball well.
The fielder, Marlon Burns.
We are in extras because of Marlon Byrd's catch. The bottom of the 9th to rob Wellington Castillo. Hit hard. Coghlan with a tough play, and it'll be a base hit. Where Bird was, Coghlan had no shot to get him, even if he fielded it cleanly.
Yeah, not that Bird would be the candidate, but I thought at some point here in the last couple innings, somebody might push a bunt down there towards Coghlan because of his inexperience at third base. It's probably a good thing he didn't field this one cleanly because he might have made an ill-advised throw.
Yeah, good point. So Frazier now the lead man off in the distance at second with Bird behind him at first. It's Jay Bruce. It's a foul ball. 2 for 4, 2 RBIs, a stolen base, and a run.
Rizzo, Solair, Coghlan in the bottom of the 10th for the Cubs.
Rondon's 1 strike offering, inside edge, 0-2.
Back reset. Don't let the moment get to you. Don't overthrow, make a pitch.
Down by Montero, who just came into the ball game. Swings and misses to end the inning. As the Reds strand 2, we go to the bottom of the 10th, still tied. Facing a lefty, it's Manny Parra, not Aroldis Chapman, who was playing catch earlier in case the Reds grabbed the lead.
The first baseman,
Parra's been out there 3 times. Pitched an inning. Former starting pitcher. Morphed into a lefty specialist type guy. 2 years ago was really good for the Reds. Had a great year last year. Had a 4.66 ERA and 53 appearances. The year before that, earned run average was right at 3.33.
Many on their feet. Making some noise here in the 10th inning. Lefty to lefty, Parra to Rizzo. Ball 1. Parra works from the stretch. Boy, he was missed badly, and that one really stung his catcher, Pena.
Yeah. Lack of confidence in his stuff in this situation. A dangerous hitter up there, as I mentioned. Parra's battle control problems throughout his career. It's a split finger pitch. One you might get a guy to chase if you're ahead of him in the count.
It's Rizzo who's ahead now, 2-0. Pitcher's strike. Badenhoff. And the Reds bullpen. Inside. Actually not that far inside, because we know Anthony likes to crowd the plate. Parra was hoping to get that call. Let's see.
Yeah, it's not very far off the plate. Cozy right up there to home plate. For his first home run of the year.
3-1, ball 4. So the Cubs with a leadoff walk in each of the last 3 innings. Have the leadoff man on 5 times in this ballgame.
2 2-run home runs for Solair tonight. He's driven home Anthony Rizzo both times. In the first, it was after a single. In the 8th, after a walk. Again, he's in a position, the man on first base, where he can't walk him.
Short lead by Rizzo. The pitch. Solair fouls.
Exactly why you like to split your right and left-handed batters up in a batting order. Parra gets to start this inning because of Rizzo. And in a tie game, Brian Price had to make a tough decision. Do you let the lefty stay in there to face Solair, another left-handed hitter on deck?
Roll 1 is downstairs. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Man, if he gets another one here, I have to hold another mayor election.
Two and 1.
Sorry, Rom. Solair is the new mayor of Chicago. In front of that breaking ball a little bit. Solair, you know, he's tough because it's kind of like if you play golf and you stand on the tee box, some holes that you look down there and you just don't have a comfortable feeling. And that's what it is when you face a guy like Solair, because he's so long and strong, covers the outside part of the plate, but he's really quick inside. So you feel like there's no safe place to go.
2-2 from Parra. Checked his swing and dribbled it foul. And stung a little bit as he shakes his right hand. Cubs trailed 3-0, then 6-3. And Lester, an off night tonight, 6 runs in 6 innings, but we're tied in the 10th. And time called. Just as Parra was ready to head toward the plate, Gary Meals put his hands up.
Parra taking a long time out there, and Solair just wanted to reset.
Here it comes in the dirt. Rizzo's going to move to second, and it's 3-2 on Solair. Winning run at second base. 3 shots to get him home.
That's the thing that you really have to admire about Solair. He's not letting this moment get the best of him. Anxious hitter, perhaps chases that splitter down in the dirt. Got to maintain that disciplined approach here. Tougher to do. Once you run full 3-2, a lot of hitters convince themselves they're going to get a hittable fastball in this situation. Parr's got a base open. Solair's hit 2 home runs already tonight. Any pitch is really in play here.
3-2 off the end of the bat. Up along first, foul. Another 3-2. Base hit left field. Rizzo on his way to third. Gary Jones puts up the stop sign. And it was a right call. Rizzo's first move was back as he hesitated. Not sure if he thought that liner might be caught. Solair with a base hit, and the Cubs sitting in a really good spot here. First and third, no outs.
Mr. Solair can swing the bat. This ball is it's headed for shoe tops. Rizzo has to freeze to make sure the ball gets through. Coughlin with a chance to be a hero. He's had a huge night already.
Infield in.
Outfield in.
Ball 1 to Coughlin.
Fastball in. This goes back to our conversation about how aggressive are you at third base. No out, 1 out, 2 outs. Don't have to take any chances here if you're Anthony Rizzo.
The Reds have a base open. You normally don't think about that in this spot, but it's second base. And we do have lefty against lefty. Parra is trying to get some bad contact here. Coughlin to chase something. Castro on deck. Coughlin trying to end it. 2-1.
the game's about to be over.
3-1. The pitch by Parra. Bases loaded.
Out. We're going to go with Baden-Hop, try to get a ground ball double play. They might even put an outfielder in the infield.
I was thinking that they might do that.
So why not Chapman? See if he can come in and strike a couple people out, right? I mean, everybody saves their closer when they're on the road.
Interesting question. Bases loaded, nobody out. We'll be back. Loaded, nobody out. Brennan Bosch is into the game in right. In the 9th spot in their order, which will only matter if we get to the 11th. There's a new pitcher, Bert Badenhauer.
Hardy's been out there 3 times, a 6.75 ERA. He's faced 13 batters, allowed 5 hits and a walk. Extreme ground ball pitcher, sinkers and sliders. Astros' mission here, just stay inside the ball, get it airborne, shoot it out there towards right center.
Rizzo at third, Solair at second, Coughlin at first. Pitch dropped, but it's called a strike.
That sinker moved like a knuckleball. A bundle of energy out there, very animated, stomping around the mound.
1 strike on Castro. Here's the pitch. Fouled away, 0-2.
Yeah, good try. That off-field approach there, trying to stay inside. Much more likely to get the ball airborne with that approach. 2 strikes, you just have to look for a pitch in the zone and try to put it in play.
Castro does to the shortstop Cozart. They get an out at the plate. 1 away for Alcantara. Everybody advances 1 except for Rizzo. So Solair now representing the winning run.
Sinker was up a little bit, but still had sinking action, and you got Castro hit the ball on the ground.
Mendy still looking for his first hit. He is 0 for 16. And the Cubs don't need a hit to win the game. A lot of ways to win it here. Swing and a miss.
Change up.
That's the pitch Alcantara struggles with the most. Change ups and splits. Two strikes on Alcantara. Ground ball, base hit, Cubs win! Cubs win, Alcantara with his first hit of the year. And the Cubs love those 0-2 pitches, don't they?
How about that? Fowler's home run yesterday. Solair on 0-2 tonight in the 8th went deep, and Alcantara with his first base hit of the year earns a beating.
So the Cubs have now won 3 in a row. They're 4-2. And they just handed the Reds their 3rd straight loss after winning 4 in a row to start the season.
The big nights from Solair and Coughlin. Good work from the bullpen yet again. And Mendy Alcantara with the game-winning base hit. How about that first hit of the year?
So Alcantara, the game-winning hit. And Kelly standing by with Arizmendi.
Thanks a lot, Lynn. Well, what a way to pick up your first hit of the season and get another big win back-to-back. How good does this one feel?
This felt great. I just tried to get a good contact, and a lot of good things gonna happen.
What did you think of the night Jorge Solair had?
Oh, it's a great game.
Describe what's going on with this team right now, Arizmendi, after 2 nights in a row of comeback victories, the confidence going on in that clubhouse.
We always try to have fun during the game and try to play hard every time and enjoy the game.
All right, enjoy this one. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Alcantara, the big winner tonight, a big hero as the Cubs pull this one off in the bottom of the 10th, gentlemen.
Kelly, thanks. What a night, partner, as the Cubs come back and win in extras. So for JD and our entire CSN crew, Len Casper saying so long from Wrigley Field. Your final in 10. Cubs 7, Reds 6. Back with you tomorrow, 6:30 for a pregame coverage. Game 2 of this series. Coming up next, Blue Cross Blue Shield Cubs postgame live.